Well, I want to begin this video by first saying, I don't care what you believe in. I don't care who you are. This is just commentary for a subject that is really big in the news right now. So live your life. What do you believe in? Believe in. Whatever you want to be, be. So I'm going to start this video and I'm going to coin a term that I'm calling Atransgenderist. A person who is an Atransgenderist is a person who doesn't believe in transgenderism, that doesn't believe, that fights against transgender people. So I want to show you how you Atransgenderists are like people like me who are atheists. Now, where you want to argue and say, well, how can a person who is born female get a sex change operation and become a man? They'll say, you're still a woman. You're still a woman. Well, this is the same thing that atheists say when we go, well, how can a person who lives in 2022 with all the technology and all the things we learned still believe in some book from 2,000 years ago? How can you still believe in this nonsense? You know, the people out there that are against the transgender community, they hate pronouns. Well, think of it like this. When you say, I'm a trans person, trans is like an umbrella term. That's like saying, I'm a religious person. And the pronouns to a trans person is like the different the denominations to a Christian person. So you say, I'm a Christian, but I'm Catholic. I'm a Christian, but I'm Baptist. I'm a Christian, but I'm Church of Christ. I'm a Christian, but I'm whatever. So that's the same thing that a trans person does. They say, I'm trans, and my pronouns are they, them. I'm a trans person, and my pronouns are he, him, whatever. So when you sit there and say that a transgender person is mentally ill, that's the same thing that us atheists believe about you Christians. You say, well, a trans person has to be mentally ill to believe that they're a female or a male or they're trapped in a different body. It's the same thing when you Christians say, well, you know, there's original sin and there was a garden and a talking snake and there was a flood and Noah put 2 of every animal on this boat and all this stuff. It's the same thing. So Christians are very passionate about their beliefs, just like transgender people are very passionate about what they believe and how they feel. Now, when you ask a trans person, you know, why are you this way? They just say, well, I just feel it inside. Well, that's the same thing that a Christian says when an atheist asks them, how can you believe in this stuff? And you go, well, I just believe it. It's my faith. So a trans person's explanation of who they are is the same as a Christian's explanation of why they believe in what they believe. It's just a feeling inside. So I wanted to make this video so that I could maybe help people, especially Christians, even though I'm an atheist, help them to understand the trans community so they can have a little bit of a connection and see a little similarities in the way, say, an atheist person looks at a Christian or the way they look at a trans person. You know, you always say, well, why does it hurt you if I want to believe in Jesus? Well, why does it hurt you if a trans person wants to have surgery and become a male or a female or whatever? Why does that hurt you? And you'll say, well, it's because they're introducing it into schools. They're putting books and they're doing these drag show performances in front of kids. Well, how do you think us atheists feel when you're always pushing the 10 Commandments in the church and believing that you got to have prayer in school? It's the same thing. Do you not get it? Just because you like something doesn't mean I have to like it. And it's the same thing. Just because people are trans doesn't mean that you Christians have to like it, but really it's none of your business. So as an atheist, if you want to be Christian, I don't care. And to all you Christians out there, if a person wants to be trans, let them be trans. Why do you care so much? You know, you want to create laws to stop people from making choices about their own bodies. Well, maybe as an atheist, I want to make laws to stop you from having so much power in politics and the world around me that I have to live in. I have to live in your world. Well, you have to live in the trans people's world. So if you can believe in your unseeable God, then they can believe inside their hearts that they were born in the wrong body. So why can't you just let them do what they want to do? Every time that I talk to a Christian, they're like, well, I'm not hurting nobody. My belief is my belief. Well, the trans person isn't hurting nobody. Their feeling is their feeling. So if you want to be called a Baptist, or you want to be called a Church of Christ or a Protestant or whatever, that's the same thing as a trans person wanted to be called by their pronouns, he or she or they or them or whatever. Do you understand? Do you understand? And then you make fun of trans people and go, look, oh, they got green hair. You know, libs of TikTok, they have green hair and they got tattoos. Well, for an atheist, your rituals are kind of funny. You believe that you're, you know, breaking off a piece of cracker and that's the body of Christ, and you believe that you're drinking some fruit punch and that's blood. Your rituals are weird to us, like you think that the way that trans people dress is, or has their hair dyed or tattoos or piercings or whatever, is weird to you. Do you understand? It's all about your point of view. When you look at it from your point of view, when your point of view is closed, that's when ignorance and anger and violence happens. So we live in 2022. Can't we learn to listen to other people's points of views? And maybe I don't agree with it, and maybe you don't agree with trans people, but we all got to live in the same world. So isn't it better to get along instead of fight? You know, it just drives me crazy because Christians espouse their beliefs so openly, but then they expect everybody else to not be able to live their lives openly. So if you want to believe in your, imaginary fairy tales that make you happy, well, let the trans people believe in whatever they want to believe that makes them happy. Is it that hard to understand? You're really in the same boat, because as an atheist, when I look at Christians, I think you're freaking all nuts. Just like you Christians, when you look at trans people, you think they're all nuts. But in their communities, they find connections, and they find community, and they find family, and they find love, and they find acceptance. Just like you do in your churches, they find in their communities. So instead of making fun of them and thinking that they have a mental illness, why don't you realize that atheists, when we look at you, we think you have a mental illness, and we make fun of you because of the stupid crap you believe in. But that's society, So I think as a people, we need to start trying to live and let live, I guess. Even though I'm an atheist, I don't want no harm to come to Christians. And you Christians out there should not want any harm to come to trans people. And you should leave them alone. Just like you want to be left alone. If you want to pray at your house or your church, then do it. But leave everybody else alone, okay? This is David, Zoe Zizzles. Make sure to like and subscribe. Excuse me. Bye.